I came back from holidays and this neighbor came over to our house and she was like, oh, hey, how are you? How are things going? And I was struggling to hold this conversation. I was like, yeah, I'm good, thanks. I just couldn't generate any ideas in my brain to say, like, oh, yeah, how are you? Nothing came to my brain. I just went fully blank and I didn't know what to say. And we ended the conversation with an awkward silence. But I've improved on that. I've improved clearly because now I've made such great friends, and here's some photos. I'm gonna tell you exactly how I went from not being able to hold conversations that well to being able to hold really nice conversations and have a great time. And it all started with how I was thinking about my conversations. And then I get into some more tips, and you'll know that by the end of this video if you stick around. By the way, bro, if you're really lonely right now, I know how you feel. Bro, when I was lonely, that was the absolute worst time of my life. Just imagine you wake up and you're super happy and you go downstairs and your parents are like, wow, you're so happy today. And you're planning to meet up with a bunch of your friends and you say, yeah, it's because I'm like super excited to meet all these guys tonight. If you want help getting that, click the link in the description. So when I first went out, I went to this party and I didn't really know anyone there, but I got to know a few people. I started a few conversations, but I was quite a quiet kid. But I eventually started doing all these crazy meetups. We started going on like 100 people meetups. We would like go to a hotel room. We would go like to parties at other people's houses. I had so much fucking fun with this group. And the thing that I realized looking back is the first hangout I went there, I turned up to that party and I said hi to a bunch of people. But after I said hi and where you from, most people, I didn't really say that much afterwards. I just went silent and stood around in the group. I still made people that I can still talk to this literal day. This taught me that I didn't always need to be talking. You can make great friends and make great relationships by trying to start a conversation, but you don't really need to say that much all the time. It's all right to not say that much, to go quiet a lot. It's perfectly fine. Although it's fine to like hardly say that much, be like the quiet guy, it's still good to try and like start some conversation, to put in the effort too. If I said absolutely nothing, people aren't gonna like you. People are gonna think you're weird. But if you just say a few things like, hey bro, how you going? Like, nice to see you. What were you up to? You just like try to briefly start some conversation, and then when you're in the group, don't be scared to not ask a question. Just say, like, when he says something and you genuinely have a question you want to say, just ask it. Because I found that was the perfect balance between like, if you're gonna be a quiet guy and not being a fucking boring guy. But I was with this girl once and she would say whatever the fuck came to her mind. She would make stupid jokes. Once she started singing the alphabet. And the thing is, I thought she was a little bit weird, but I was actually really, really close friends with her and I actually really loved her company. And the thing is, she probably was a little bit weird, but what is wrong with that? She taught me that you can be an absolutely amazing, fun person to be around and still be like very unique. She told me that it didn't really matter what I said. It just mattered that I was always trying to be like happy, have a laugh. She taught me that as long as you were always happy and you were trying to have a laugh and you just like said whatever came to your mind and you were relaxed, you were fine with not really saying that much, that you would actually have a really nice conversation. Then I came back from holidays and I planned to go out a shit ton. I was going out with this group on this day. I was sleeping over with my friends the next day. I was going to the gym with this guy. I planned everything. I planned a shit ton of stuff. And I was hanging out with my school friends. It's just so many different things socially wise going on. And I planned that for about a week and I was doing all those things. And then after about a week, I planned to meet up with this girl. And what ended up happening is when I met up with her, by me going out so much and by me being so comfortable in social situations and me just like being relaxed and not feeling like I constantly need to be talking, being okay with the silence. I got there, I was like, hey, how are you? A little bit of slightly awkward, I suppose. To some people might view that as awkward, and some people won't even view that as awkward. They'll just view that as like normal when you first get to meet somebody. And really quickly, I fucking clicked so well with this person. We got along so fucking well. And we had a great time together, we hung out. And I realized I was trying to start conversation, but I wasn't so obsessed or I wasn't so like scared of the conversation going quiet. And it did go quiet and it was completely fine. This all taught me that I made like, such an amazing friend from this. By me being fine with being silent, but just putting in a little bit of effort, like asking questions, like, trying to talk There was nothing wrong with like long silences though. We would just like sit there and stare off for a bit or listen to music for a second or something. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Sometimes you just don't have anything to say. That's perfectly fine when we're with our really close friends compared to somebody that we've just recently met. Sometimes we forget this. There's never any reason to be forcing conversation. And when you just let it naturally come, you're like, oh yeah, so what did you do today? Oh yeah, that's cool. What do you like to do? Like, you just genuinely, if you're genuinely interested and you ask those questions, it will never be awkward or weird, or if you're never worried about the conversation going silent, you're chilling. I was trying to go up to a lot more people about 1 year ago. And when I was trying to go up to more of these people, I was in class and I went up to these two girls and they were really friendly and everything. I was genuinely struggling so much to start this conversation. I was stressed going to talk to them. I was stressed while talking to them. I was stressed after talking to them. I was so worried, like, oh, what if the conversation goes silent? I didn't actually realize it, but it was in the back of my mind. I was like, oh, it can't go silent, because I developed this fear of a silent conversation. And I was just trying to blatantly just talk to more and more people throughout my daily life. And it wasn't really working that well because two reasons. First of all, I was uncomfortable with the silence. And the other reason, bro, I wasn't going out and doing anything socially. I wasn't putting myself in an environment where you can meet people your age and like actually get in a lot of conversations. I wasn't doing that at all. I was just in school talking to more people and then not doing anything over the weekend or in my free time. I was just hardly talking to anybody during my free time. And it taught me that you can't just magically be really good at starting conversations and meeting new people. You need to go out a lot. Because remember the story when I told you about how I clicked with this girl really easily? Well, I'd been going out for a week straight, hanging out with mates pretty much every single day and doing something fun. Then with this girl, when I met her, she was just like another person. I'd been meeting so many other people, so many conversations. She was just another conversation. But when I was trying to talk to people in my school, new people that I'd never spoken to before, it was hard because I hadn't been having those new conversations. It wasn't just another conversation. It was like one that I hadn't had in a while. And on top of that, I was worried about going silent. I was like doubting myself. And like I was sometimes even wondering, like, can I even talk to people normally? And that was like a struggle that I was going through at the time. But I fixed it because that next holiday, about 1 month after this story when I was trying to talk to these girls. It was a recurring story, by the way. It happened all over the board whenever I tried to talk to someone new or talk to even guys. I would still get really nervous a lot of the time. But when I went on holidays, the first week, it was still really awkward. I went out pretty much a week straight. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. I went out doing something socially, maybe not to a huge environment where I can meet a lot of people my age, but I went out with my friends, got in a lot more conversations, tried to be way more social. And that next Saturday was one of the fucking best social nights I'd ever had, because I was having a really bad time at the first part, and I left the area of the venue and I went for a walk. I grabbed some water. I bumped into some old friends. They were like, yo, it's so good to see you. They hyped me up. And at that moment I felt like, oh yeah, I do have really good friends, because I was really insecure about not having really good friends. That was what was leading me to be insecure and comfortable with silence. And so after seeing them, I was just so much more confident in myself. I just like casually rocked back to the venue. I was getting way more conversations all of a sudden. And look, I'm not gonna say what went down that night, but holy shit, it was the best fucking night. I still remember that night a year later. And it was only when, after I had been trying to get into conversations, a lot of social situations, putting myself out there into an environment where I have to speak to a lot of new people, and not even on the first time that I did that, on the second night of Saturday and then the next Saturday, then it was starting to work, because I just kept going. I kept trying to be really social. And that's when finally the thing broke down. I was more comfortable getting into conversations. I was comfortable I was like telling jokes. I was that really funny guy. Everybody was like, yo, you're so funny, bro. I got so many compliments that night. All these girls were coming over and talking to me and I wasn't struggling like I would have normally. I wasn't struggling with the girls that I mentioned earlier when I tried to go speak to them and I was just really nervous. I wasn't struggling anymore. It was just normal. It was just like talking to another person. And I just had the best night after that. I don't want to say anything that happened. It's a little explicit, but I fucking still remember that night. I will remember it for the rest of my life probably. All because I just put myself out there. You might be doubting that it's completely fine to be silent. Well, I went to hang out with this girl a few weeks ago and she's really quiet. But what I realized is she still has friends and she goes out quite often and she's completely comfortable with the silence. A silence that I felt really awkward and like weird. She was completely fine with it. She was just like happy in her own company, like going quiet, looking off to the distance, or just like smiling. She was completely happy to be in a fully silent situation with somebody else. And when I was with her, I was like, holy shit, wait, so you can just do that? You can just be silent? Clearly, because I really enjoyed her company, because there was no pressure at all. And she would only speak when there was something genuinely interesting. And the other times we would like, just be walking or enjoying the moment, or sometimes listening to music or something. And it all became really simple. When you take opportunities, so you go places where there's people your age, and it's like it's an area where it's not that weird to go up to approach and say hi to new people, which there basically is no area which is too weird to approach new people. You start conversations and you invite people to do another meetup, to go to a workout, to join you for something, join you in a group to go hang out. When you do those things, it's fucking inevitable that you get results. If you keep going to those places where there are people your age, you keep trying to get in more conversations, you keep learning, you keep watching my videos where I teach you, just relax, it's okay to be silent, talk about this thing, don't talk about that thing. I've got a lot of videos here. And if you keep just following the process, I fucking guarantee you're gonna get results and you're gonna eventually be able to talk to anybody, anywhere, and have amazing friends that you've dreamed of. If you need any help with this, I will personally help you. Just click the link in the description and you can ask me any question you have. But there's this like one really overpowered tip if you're still struggling. If you watched all this, you're trying this and none of it's working, you can implement this tactic, which I think is really overpowered. So one night I went out with my friend and there was this other guy who was his friend. And me and him were like these two social hype guys. We're like, yeah, like we're hype as fuck, super high energy. We're loud. We start conversations with everybody. And he's like this quiet kid. And so we went to grab some food at like, there's this thing called 7-Eleven. Depends where you're from in the world. And we had grabbed some like noodles or something. I'm pretty sure we were chilling outside. And there was this group of like 4 Aussie guys and we were in overseas. And we were like, yo, are you Australian? We just started conversation. And this one guy, bro, he was really weird about it. Or he wasn't really weird, but he was really clearly uncomfortable talking to all these new people. But by him hanging out with my friend and me, he just instantly became more social. He was forced to start more conversations. And it would have skyrocketed his social skills. Because if you think about it, he probably hasn't talked to a new person in a week, 2 weeks. And by just hanging out with us, he's talked to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20 new people all in one night, maybe even more, just because he's with 2 really social guys. So if you're struggling to like make new friends, just go to a place, there's people your age, and get a really social guy to come with you and he'll just carry. You'll just get like, super social just by hanging out with him, even if it's just one-on-one. So the thing is, sometimes I'm still awkward, but what I do is before I go on my night out, this one time, I had planned to have a really massive 20-person meetup at 7 and we were all gonna go out that night and have a good time. At 3, I invited about 6 or 7 of my friends. We all went, we got some lunch and we had a great time for a few hours. We're talking, we're laughing. That way, that when I got to the meetup, I was super loud, I was social, I was hype as fuck, I was in an amazing mood. That was only possible because I met my friends before the actual night out. I actually got myself warmed up a bit, if that makes sense. It genuinely does help me, like to actually meet up with a friend before going on the night out helps massively. Getting conversations way easier. The problem with that tip is like, it's really only a one-night thing. If you're just awkward, it's still not gonna make you perfect. That's why I said all the other tips first. As an example of me not doing this, I went to this wedding straight away. I'd just woken up, I quickly got in the gym, quickly hit some sauna, and I went to this wedding, was fully dressed. For 3 hours, I was feeling quite awkward, decently struggling, just because I was really jet lagged and everything. And only after me getting into tons and tons of conversations, then at about 3, I started to feel good. I started getting really funny conversations and really enjoyed my time. So, bro, do you actually want results? You actually want your life to change? Well, if you do, you need to do these things. Plan going out right now. Plan a day for you to go somewhere where you can be more social, where there's people your age. Literally anything fun. And if you don't know where, I've got a video on that. Then you go, you start conversations with new people. Oh yeah, I forgot to say, bring your super social friend, and then it's way easier to start conversations with new people. And I also have a video on starting new conversations with new people. And then finally, invite people. Invite them to hang out. And that's how you, if you have a good conversation with somebody and then you invite them to hang out, that's how you make a good friend. Seriously, there's no other way. I have a video on inviting people to hang out and how to actually make it work. But bro, if you're still struggling or if you need any help at all, click the link in the description right now. I've got other videos on my channel if you need help with any of these things. I'm gonna make sure you get a fucking good social group, bro. Have a good day.